Hello, hello, hello. Can you all hear me or not? Sorry, supposed to okay. Hi, hi. Sorry, I wasn't talking, but I hope you all can hear me clearly. Just trying to see my own live stream so I don't block anything. Okay, Ken. Yep. Hello. Okay. Some familiar faces already. I think. Pei Fong Yihao, YS, Nugget Cat. I don't remember Nugget Cat. Merville Queen, Jen. I like science. Good. I like science. Actually, I also like maths. I like to do maths question, but I like to teach science. Teaching science is more fun, but doing science question is not as fun. Today, there's no Kahu Yihao. My Kahu is yesterday. Right? Did y'all do the cover for yesterday? Did y'all join yesterday's P6 with teacher Jody? I think it was yesterday. Hi, Charlene. Okay, yes, yeah. So hopefully y'all won something if y'all joined yesterday's live with teacher Jody. Right. Okay, let me try and click my mic. Better. Sorry, it dropped off. Okay, so today's paper is gonna be just another revision paper. I think for these last few weeks we are like gonna be preparing for just your end of year revision, right? Is there science class for P6 next week? I think P6 classes there's no more like a TikTok live already next week. So but next week Thursday I will be running the P5 one. Okay, so if you want to like do some last minute revision for your PSLE, of course you can join my live, right? To do some last minute revision. Or if you have a question, will there be any more P6 live after PSLE? Probably not, but I will be the one who is gonna continue with the P6 live next year. So I don't know when I will be like resuming the TikTok live, but when I resume, I will continue with the P6 TikTok live. Okay, Jen. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. All right. So then teacher Jody, me and teacher Jody essentially will like swap places. So she will teach the P5 and I will continue with the P6. Then after that, we swap over again. Right. Hopefully no more writing P6. Okay, so hopefully you all had a good week. I think right after the 1 week holiday, right? So like hope you all had a good rest during the 1 week. Went for some holiday, had fun, eat lots of food, sleep well. Okay. Okay, let's just slowly get started first. All right, I think there's already quite a lot of viewers. Set one next year is who? Set one. I'm not so sure. Set one. Yep. Okay, I'll try to find out for you, Jen. Maybe my next live, then I'll tell you. Okay. So again, today we're going through our P5 science. Okay, so this is already a term 4 revision. I think by now you would have covered all the topics in P5, right? All your cycle, reproduction in human, right, plants, and also your water cycle should have been done. Your system, circulatory system, plant transport system, respiratory system, and electrical system. Everything should be done. It was pure torture. What pure torture? Ladies. No more writing P6. Ooh, okay, but P6 will be a very good experience, I think, for you. Okay, especially PSLE because it's your I am lagging. Okay. I hope like um okay, but there's nothing I can do if I'm lagging. It's not like I control Singtel or I control M1, right? It's lagging. I think just hang on for a while. Okay, hopefully it will like tide over, right? Okay, okay. Let's get started. All right, what happened to my pen again? Okay, let me change my pen. Oh no, this should be purple. Okay, starting with question one. Question one shouldn't be too difficult. Right, diagram below shows the human reproductive system. By now, you should be pretty familiar with the human reproductive system, especially the male and the female reproductive system. Right, so I think a lot of you already know what is the answer, but let me just go through a bit more so that I can help you revise. Right, Joe, will that be crash course for PSLE study break? um we already had beyond like the PSLE like boot camp already happened during the holiday. So there's no more PSLE boot camp. But if you're asking about P5 webinar, I think there's one in October for P4 and P5. If you all want to join, I will be hosting the P5 one. Okay. Yeah, no more PSLE program already. Like right now, you all should be cruising already. Should be good to go, right? Okay. If tomorrow is the exam, you will go in and slay, right? Okay. So obviously the one on the left is the female reproductive organ. Okay, I hope I get it correct. Okay, so this is the female reproductive organ. Let me just go through the question. Right. So part A is the womb. Right, the womb is where the baby will develop. Right, let me try and write neater. And then B is the ovary. Right, ovary is where the female egg cell is being produced, correct? And then on the right is the male reproductive organ. Male reproductive organ, you just need to know part B. Part B is the penis, right? Where the sperm cells exit, right? And then part C is your testis. Okay, where the sperm cell is produced. PSLE is in 8 days. Yes, PSLE is gonna be soon. What's my name? You can call me teacher KH, or teacher Lim is also fine, right? TikTok live teacher also can. teacher KH, yes, yep, a K and a H, yep. Okay, so hopefully by now you know what is their function, but I haven't figured out what the question is asking for. Okay, the question is asking which two parts A, B, C, D produce cells that will fuse together to develop into a baby. All right, so the process where the reproductive cells fuse together is fertilization, right? Fertilization. Okay, and then the two parts which produce the reproductive cells is, okay, I think a lot of you already know the answer. It is your ovary and your testes, right? So it should be B and C, right? B and C is number 3. Okay, so hopefully you all really remember. Okay, let me just label one last part. This part is the vagina. Okay, where the sperm cells will is deposited, right? So for females, you just need to remember 3 parts. Okay, the vagina, womb, and the ovary. Right. For the male, there's only 2 parts. Okay, testes and penis. Wait, you what school? Oh, okay, you're not talking to me. You're talking to Star. Okay. Any question? Are y'all happy that PSLE is gonna happen soon? Like once PSLE is over, y'all can start to play already, right? Yes. Teaching about reproduction, not teaching about private parts. I see someone is very excited. Okay, then I'm gonna break your excitement by going into the next question. Finally, PSL is coming. Yep. Fallopian tube is no longer tested. It's not really in the syllabus. All right. You're in secondary school. Come here and kepo. Okay, come. Let us slowly go through question 2. I think today's worksheet is not too difficult for P5s. All right, so hopefully you can like manage it well. P5 going to fail science for sure. Why are you so sure, Star? Like, okay, science is not difficult. You just need to know a few tips and tricks and strategy. Then you'll be able to ace your science. All right. Okay, let's go through the next question. All right. So question number 2. Diagram below shows how water and food are transported in a plant. So this question is on your plant transport system, right? So hopefully you are familiar with plant transport system. Essentially nothing much to remember. You just need to know your water carrying tube and food carrying tube, and that's it, right? So this part over here is flower, right? Flower, typically food and water. Okay, I'm gonna try and highlight the food as green, so it's easier to see. Okay, green, green, and green, right? And then I'm gonna highlight the water as blue. Okay, blue, blue, blue. Okay, so which of the following shows the parts of the plant correctly? Okay, I think that part A is probably gonna be the stem, right? Doesn't make sense that it is the roots, okay? Because roots will take in water, but in this case, B should be the roots, and then C is where the food is coming out, right? So the food is coming out from here. This is the source of the food. So C should be the leaf. B should be the roots because the water is coming out from here, right? Hopefully you can see the water is coming out from here. So hopefully you know B is probably the roots, right? Where you take in water and then water will be transported to all parts of the plant, right? And the part C is the leaf. Leaf is where they can make food. Okay, not take in food. Like at this level, some of my students you write take in food. I want to faint already if I see you write take in food. Okay. Okay, so and then after that part A will be the stem, right? Stem is where the function of the stem is to transport substances all around the plant, right? Transport water from the roots to all other parts, transport food from the leaves to all other parts, all right? So obviously, part B is the roots. Okay, let's start with part A first. Part A is the stem, part B is the roots, part C is the leaf. Oh, okay, I wrote make food. Okay, but there's only one option with leaf, right? So very clearly, okay, the answer is option 2. Is your favorite number 67? No, my favorite number is not 67. Okay. Any other question? I love chicken nugget. Okay. I kind of like chicken nugget too, but I don't think eating too much chicken nugget is good for your health. Okay, but it is a very convenient food, chicken nugget. Okay, any other question? No question regarding science. Everybody is here to like talk rubbish. Oh, how long is the live gonna be? It is gonna be until 8. Fire.x. What level is this? This is for P5. Of course, if you're in P6, you also can like do some revision, right? Especially for your PSLE. Okay. We need to annotate. I mean, annotation is pretty much up to you. Okay, no question, right? Oh, wait, Jen. Is water carrying tube the inner or outer? Okay, water carrying tube is in the inner, right? So, water, okay, carrying tube, okay, is in the inner. Okay, but you are no longer tested on recognizing the position of the water carrying tube and food carrying tube. But it's good to know because certain question they will say, like for example, the outer ring of the stem is being removed, right? So immediately once you see the question say the outer ring is being removed, that means they are telling you the food carrying tube is being removed. Okay, so a water carrying tube is on the inner because water is more important, right? A food carrying tube is on the outer ring. If outer ring is removed, will on top and below swell or only on top? Okay, Vion, that is a very good question. It depends on where the leaves are at, right? If the leaves are located only above the cut, then only the top part will swell. If top and bottom also got leaves, then both top and bottom will swell. Okay, Beyond. So hopefully I answered that question. Any more? When you make a diagram, you need to know. Okay, hi Kaiser. I don't know if you are my student Kaiser from my class, but okay, done. I think no more question. If you want to ask question about your P6 science, I can also try to answer. All right. Water carrying tube is on the is in the inner part of the stem. Yes, Eden, correct. Okay, right. I'm gonna move on to question 3. Okay, question 3. We shall measure the oxygen concentration of the water in her fish tank. Okay, so those of you who keep fish at home, I think you should know that like keeping the oxygen level high, right, is going to be very important, because once the oxygen level drop, I think the fish will die, right? Actually, there's no Kahoot today, but next week there will be Kahoot for my live on Thursday, not Wednesday, on Thursday. Okay, because I'll be switching to Thursdays. Can you give me tips on how to answer electromagnet question? Okay, electromagnet question. Okay, usually you need to talk about electricity. So electromagnet question, you need to say when the switch is closed, then electricity flow through the circuit, and then it will magnetize the electromagnet. This is usually the first 3 steps when it comes to answering an electromagnet question. Okay, who was the one that run? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I hope I answered your question, right? Can you switch to, if you switch to Thursday, which day will it be for English? Oh, Avis, I'm not so sure. I guess you can go to the AGrader website and then you will find out about the schedule. I believe the schedule should be out, all right? What is question 2? Question 2 is number 2. Okay, okay, let's go on to question 3. Right, well, today suddenly like a lot of questions. Very good. Oh my goodness. Okay, Eden. If teacher asks you to build a plant transport system, you need to know water carrying tube, inner or out. Yes, of course, Eden. So don't mix up the tube. Then if it is for a project and if you're getting marks for it, then you got to make sure you know the water carrying tube is on the inner, food carrying tube is on the outer. All right. Okay, come. Let's quickly go through this question number 3. All right, we shall measure the oxygen concentration of water in her fish tank. The oxygen concentration in the water was below the normal level. Okay, so below is not too good, right? And the fish behaved differently. Okay, so usually when the oxygen level is below, right, typically a lot of question will say they will swim near the surface of the water, right? Because they want to like that's where the oxygen would dissolve into the water. Okay, which of the following best describes the behavior of the fishes and the explanation? Okay, there are 2 things. One is the rate of opening and closing, and the second one is the explanation. Okay, I need tips on adaptation. Yes, okay. How about energy conversion question? Okay, I'll give some tips on adaptation. Okay, hold on. Let me answer this question first. Okay, which of the following best describes the behavior of the fish? Right, rate of opening and closing definitely will increase, right? Because they are trying to channel more water towards the gills. Okay, let me try and write it down. Channel. Okay, more water. Okay, towards. Oops. Okay. Okay, towards the gills, right? So that they can increase the rate of like taking in the oxygen. Okay, explanation. So explanation, we just look at these 2, right? Narrow down to these 2 already. Number 1 says that the fish need to release less carbon dioxide. Okay, I think you should be able to realize that number 1 is like totally wrong. Okay, so the fish doesn't want to release less carbon dioxide. In fact, it's the opposite, right? You want to release, like, get rid of all the carbon dioxide, because we don't use carbon dioxide. So it's definitely option 2. The fish need to breathe more to take in enough oxygen, right, for it to be alive. So remember, right, all living things will go through the process of respiration. Okay, so respiration will allow you to produce more energy and keep you alive, right? So answer will be option 2. Okay, So to answer just now, I forgot who. I think it is Fran, right? Asking about energy conversion. Okay, but hold on, energy conversion. Where is that question? Because PSLE is coming. Okay, I missed that question on energy conversion. Okay. Um okay, but Optimus, I'm gonna give you some tips on adaptation, right? Usually for adaptation, for okay, okay, usually for adaptations, it is for right survival. Okay, so if you don't know what the adaptation is for, number one, you can think of to get more food. Okay, or number two, it is to survive. Okay, I don't want to write to survive. To escape from predator. Okay, escape, okay, from predators. Okay, so for adaptations, right? If you don't know what the adaptation is for, usually animals out there, they want to survive, and to survive, number one, they must have food. Number two, they must not die. Okay, so usually these are the two reasons. Right? Hide from predator, yes, hide from predator will be camouflage. Okay, that day I was discussing like a very important point with my student, right? So hiding camouflage is very different from escaping from predator. Okay, so if you are camouflage, right, the moment you get spotted by the predator, that means you are dead because you cannot run away. Okay, but if you have the ability to escape from the predator, then it doesn't matter if the predator spot you or not because you can run away. Okay, so that's the difference between hiding from predator and escaping from predator. Okay, so hopefully that will help you a bit. Okay, done. No more question on. Most of you are asking questions about PSLE instead of today's worksheet, but it's good because that shows that you are like you pay like a lot of attention to the PSLE, right? You all want to do well. Okay. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. Okay, question number 4. In the air-conditioned school library, Aaron breathes in air through his nose. Okay, it's a good habit to breathe through your nose at A and breathe out, okay, through the mouth at B. Okay, let me just write some arrow first. So A is in, right, and then a B is okay, out. Right, so A is inhaled air, B is exhaled air. Okay, which of the following statements about the air at A and B is true? Okay, so there's only one true, the rest are wrong, right? So let's read through all the options and figure out what is wrong with the others also, because you can also learn things from statements that are wrong. Okay, number one says that the air at A is warmer than the air at B. Okay, so this is wrong. It should be the other way around. Should be B is warmer. Okay, why is your exhaled air warmer? Because your exhaled air will gain heat from, okay, number one, gain heat from your body. Okay, I think it will be very difficult for you to be at an environment where it is higher than your body temperature, right? Because our body temperature is about 36.9, 37. Okay. Number two, the air at A has more nitrogen than the air at B. This is also wrong, right? The amount of nitrogen will remain the same. Okay, so remain same. All right. So number one, number two are wrong. Okay, I think a lot of you just now were saying number three is the correct answer. Okay, number three, the air at A has less water vapor. Okay, less water vapor than the air at B. Okay, so this is correct. Okay, because your exhaled air will go through your windpipe and your nose, right? Or in this case, it is your mouth, right? And there's a lot of moisture in our mouth, right? Which will cause the moisture to evaporate. Okay, so is oxygen not nitrogen? Has more the air at A. Okay, yeah. I mean, you can also think of it as nitrogen remains the same, or you can change this nitrogen to oxygen, right? Okay, I understand what you're trying to say, right? Okay, change this nitrogen to oxygen, then the statement will become correct. Okay, number four, the air at A has more carbon dioxide than the air at B. Okay, so this is also wrong. Okay, because A is your inhaled air, right? And then B is equals to your exhaled air. Okay, so exhaled air will definitely have more. Okay, I'm going to write the short form, right? Carbon dioxide, because it goes through the process of respiration, right? Just now we were talking about respiration, and hopefully by now you are clear what is the process of respiration, right? Oxygen combined with a digested food produce energy, produce energy, carbon dioxide, and water. All right. Okay. I hope I did not miss out any important messages. Let me just scroll up quickly and see if there's anything that I need to answer. Or what level is this? Set phase. It is P5 science. Of course, it can also serve as a revision for your PSLE. Oh yes, octopus, you're correct. I mean, you can either see it as like the air you breathe in contains more oxygen, or the level of nitrogen will not change. Okay, for inhaled air and exhaled air. Okay, any more question? Why three again? I don't know. Okay, if y'all have been like reading into the like I don't know what is it called, the psychology of MCQ, right? Actually, number one, there's a low chance number one comes out. There's a high chance number three comes out, which is quite true, because like usually when I set MCQ question, I don't like to put the answer on number one, because Alice can give more tips for PSLE. Um, there's one tip which I always give students, that is to underline keyword when you are doing your science. But a lot of students don't do that, and a lot of students don't understand the importance of underlining keyword. Okay, so try to underline keywords. All right, when you are reading, when you're doing your science. Okay. Okay, underlining keyword is actually quite a very is an important skill, because it doesn't take up more time, and it really help you to focus on the main thing. Okay, yes, front. Okay, you got a question, just type it out and pray hard that I saw it. You don't need a highlighter to underline. You just use your pen and underline. Don't waste time on a highlighter. Okay. Can I have an answer for Q1 and 2? Okay, summer blue. So Q1 is number 3, Q2 is number 2. All right, 3 and 2. Okay, so summer blue, right? Okay, no question. Let's move on to, the more people don't use one, the more people use one. Maybe reverse psychology, right? This time the PSLE a lot of one instead. Okay, come. Let me just slowly go through the OEQ section. All right. So the first tip is to underline keyword when you're doing your PSLE. Okay. The second tip is to try and check the first three questions again at the end, because there is this pattern which I see that a lot of students will like can repeat the first tip. Okay, the first tip is to underline keyword. The second tip is to check your first two MCQs again, because I don't know why, for some reason a lot of students get the first two questions wrong even though they are like very good students. Okay, maybe they are nervous during the first two questions. Okay, so you take a bit of time to settle down. Stylo, J and K lay eggs in water while J has 3-stage life cycle while K has 4-stage life cycle. Are you talking about the answer to question 5? I think you are. Okay, let me read through question 5. Okay, study the diagram below. So animals, right? By now you should be familiar with your 3-stage life cycle and 4-stage life cycle. 3-stage life cycle, lay eggs in water, lay eggs on land. Okay, 4-stage, lay eggs in water, lay eggs on land. Okay, so 3-stage in water, I don't know. Okay, I can think of maybe a frog, right? Okay, 3-stage, lay eggs in water. A 4-stage, oh, our favorite, right? Mosquito. Okay, then next, based on the diagram, state one similarity and one difference between animals J and K. Okay, so one similarity between J and K. Okay, similarity is already clearly written over here, right? They both lay eggs in water, right? Let me write this down first. Okay, both um, lay eggs in water. Okay, difference is definitely the number of stages, right? Okay, J goes through a 3-stage life cycle, but K goes through 4-stage life cycle. Okay, I think just now someone was asking for the answer for question number 4. It is actually number 3. The difference is that one is 3-stage life cycle, the other is 4-stage life cycle. Okay, ABC, be very careful, okay, because like if that is your answer during your exam, you're gonna get it wrong because I don't know which one you're talking about. That is the 3-stage and which one is the 4-stage. Okay, so be very specific. You got to say that animal J is the one that goes through the 3-stage life cycle. All right, let me write down the answer first. Animal. I think it's better to go to the toilet first. Don't worry, I'm writing the answer down now. So anyway, I won't give tips if you never ask, right? So okay, go to your toilet front. Don't worry. I'm not gonna give some tips that will help you secure AL1. I think those are probably like um, rubbish. Animal J has a 3 stage, okay, life cycle. Okay, but animal K, did you say anything? I am talking. I hope y'all can hear me. Okay, animal K has 4, okay, staged, okay, life cycle. Give us mythical tips. um I don't know what tips to give you at this point, but let me think. What else can I give you? Can repeat the tips. Okay, number 1, underline keywords. Number 2, recheck your first 2 questions because a lot of students make mistakes during the first 2 questions because y'all can get nervous during your exam, right? Especially at the beginning. But once you get into the zone, once you're focused, then you will not feel nervous anymore. Okay, so the tip is to start writing. Okay, during the first 2 questions, you can annotate lightly because once you start writing, it will help to calm you down. Okay, so start writing. Moving will calm you down. Okay, then after that, say you must annotate and the answer is in the question. Okay, I usually don't encourage students to annotate because that is kind of like you're gonna spend extra time annotating. Okay, so if you're absolutely sure about the answer, you can immediately write down. Only for the you can annotate lightly, okay, because I believe there is a way for you to, like for mathematics. My 4 looks like, oh, where Okay, like for mathematics, I have this habit of annotating, but for science, not so much. Yeah, personally, I also don't like annotating, but I know there are students who like annotating, and I know it helps them to learn how to understand a graph. Cause I do know how to look at the graph. I think you mean you do not know how to look at the graph. Can show light annotating. This is already light annotation. Like I never annotate things like okay, you see so I can do more annotation such as a three-stage life cycle. So can be insect, okay, or animal, right? Okay, I can also write four-stage life cycle insect. Okay, I can also write like things like the young, okay, do not, okay, look like the oops, okay, my like, okay, adult, things like that. Okay, a lot of notes, but annotating is good to use like during teaching, but when you are doing the exam, right, don't need to write too much. Okay, when you're doing the exam, I think the focus is on writing a very good answer. All right. Okay, no more question. Oh, talking about graph. Okay, lah. Actually, this is not the kind of graph that front you're saying, because I understand the kind of graph that you're talking about. Okay, the next question. The graph shows the mass of the butterfly at different stages of the life cycle. So by now, once you look at this graph, you should know that A is the egg stage, right? And then B is probably the larva stage. Okay, C is probably the pupa stage. Okay, and then D is the adult stage. Okay, then once you how do I know A and C is the egg and pupa? Because the mass did not increase, right? If you look at the mass, it's like that, right? So during the egg stage, they definitely do not consume any food. During the pupa stage, they also do not consume any food, right? So the mass will not increase. So for part B, name stage C. Okay, we already have the name there. Give a reason. Okay, why there is no gain in mass. All right, so let us name. Okay, another very important tip. As you're reading through the question, you got to be very crystal clear on what are the points you need to address. Okay, for example, for part B, there are two things you need to address. Number one, name the stage. Number two, give a reason. Okay, so sometimes students miss out on all these small things, especially during the exam, right? You are stressed, you are nervous, then you might miss things out. You can't go to the toilet because your mother is fixing the toilet door. Okay, come. So name the stage. The stage will be pupa stage. All right, so pupa stage. Then as the mass of the, okay, butterfly, okay, remains the same. Uh, okay, let me make some changes. Okay, let me remove this, and I'm just gonna write the mass of the butterfly remains the same. Okay, as uh, during the, okay, pupa stage. Okay, it does not eat. Okay, okay, I need to drink some water. I'm gonna mute my mic first. Yes, drinking water. I don't think you all want to hear me and do all that. Okay, water break. Yes, I am a human. I need water. Okay, let's see any question. I like water. Okay, okay lah. I don't really like water, but I think we need to drink more water. Okay, any question? No more, right? Okay, let me just see. No more question. Then I move on to the next part already. So you're embarrassed to show the sound of drinking water. I'm not embarrassed to show the sound of me drinking water, but I don't think there is a need for me to show. Why would you want to hear me drinking water? Like, then you want to hear. Okay, I don't think you have the chance because I already quenched my thirst already, so I won't be going for another water break. You got echo when you turn on your mic again. Oh, when I turn on got echo. Have or not? The rest. Maybe it's just echo from the water. Drink again, then no more echo. Still got. Okay, let me try and. Hold on, let me check. Oh, okay, I know why already. Hold on, because it's the same problem. Okay, thanks for telling me. Yes, it's the same problem because there are two mics that are on. I don't know why. Okay, now I think the problem should be no more already. No more echo. Yes. Okay, thank you. It's the same problem the other time. Remember the other time you all said it's echoey. Then because I had two mics on. Oh no, I never changed my glasses. Okay, my glasses is still the same old one. Okay, let me scroll down a bit because it is blocking. Okay, come. Wait, another question. Fauzi, for P6, is a population one or more of the same kind or two? Oh, okay, yes. Population, one organism is not a population. Okay, it has to be two or more of the same type, Fauzi. Okay? Okay, come. Let's go through question number 6. Julie placed two identical cups into two basins L and M. Okay, basin L and M are of the same size but made of different materials. Okay, she filled basins with equal amount of salt water and covered both setups with identical plastic sheets and then placed them under the sun for 2 hours. Actually, those cause your glasses is yellow. I think maybe it's a reflection or something, but I never change my glasses. Okay, usually if you see me highlighting words, right? These words that I highlight are usually the words that I will underline during the exam because I want to pay attention to these words. Okay, so everything that you see over here which is highlighted in yellow are usually the constant variable. Okay, and then after that the changed variable over here, I highlighted it a bit different, right? So same size, same amount of salt water, right? Identical plastic. Okay, put it under the sun, right? So that there is heat. Okay. Okay, after a few hours, she found substance Q in both cups. Okay, by now you should know what is substance Q. Okay, it is the thing which I drank just now. It is water. All right. So, wait, I saw a question. Sure, for grasshopper life cycle, is it egg then young then adult, right? Okay, yes, it can be egg young adult, but usually for insect we call it egg nymph and adult. Okay, usually for like chicken then we call egg young adult. Okay, luckily I saw that question. Yeah, for grasshopper, usually for insect is egg nymph then adult. How to ensure a fair test? Make sure that there's only one changed variable. Okay, so after a few hours, she found a substance Q in both cup. What is substance Q? Right, so substance Q is definitely water. You want to write a pure water also can. Are you guys here to learn or talk nonsense? Okay, Bella is like angry already because she's here to learn. Do you want to join my freezer grader pay? Okay, then let me go through part B, right? State the process. Okay, state two processes that took place for substance Q to form. So the two processes that need to take place is definitely evaporation, okay, and a condensation Okay, let me just annotate it slightly. Okay, so the water will gain heat, right? So the water will gain heat. Okay, and then after that it will evaporate, okay, into a water vapor, and then after that come into contact with the cooler plastic sheet, right? And then it will lose heat and it lose heat, okay, comma, condense into water droplets, and then after that the water droplets will, okay, drip down into the cup, right? Okay, so part C. Okay, basin L is made of a better conductor of heat. Explain why this would cause more substance Q to be collected in the cup. Okay, where is basin L? Okay, so basin L is over here. Right, basin L over here is a better conductor of heat. Okay, but you cannot, Nugget, you cannot just say it will evaporate faster. You got to explain why will it evaporate faster, because it can gain heat faster. And when it gain heat faster, then it will evaporate faster. All right. Okay, so I know because this is like you are typing, so maybe you don't type out the full answer, but I'm just worried that you will write down the wrong answer. Okay, so okay, let me write down the answer for part C. I scroll it up a bit so you can see. Okay, so better conductor, okay, of heat, right? It allows the seawater to gain heat. Okay, gain heat faster, increasing the rate of evaporation. Okay, so once the rate of evaporation is increased, then more water vapor okay, more water vapor will condense on the cooler, okay, plastic, okay, cooler plastic sheet, okay, to form, okay, more water, okay, droplets. Okay, sure, Avis, I will highlight the keyword when I'm done. Okay, so more water vapor will condense on the cooler plastic sheet to form more water droplets. Okay, I actually want to write more, but I'm out of space. To form, okay, and drip into the cup. Okay, I'm gonna squeeze it here. The cup. Okay, I hope you can see. Okay. Okay, key points is of course the first thing you need to talk about is a better conductor of heat allows the seawater to gain heat faster. Okay, then yes, Nugget, I'm highlighting as per your request. Okay, and then increasing the rate of evaporation. Wait, what's the question? Sorry, wait, now I'm confused. Okay, okay, hold on. Let me highlight first. So increasing the rate of evaporation is also important, right? Then next talk about more water vapor. Okay, more water vapor will condense on the cooler plastic sheet to form more water droplets. Okay, so these are I think the key points that you need to talk about. Answer for part D is ice, is it? Suggest what Judy could add. Okay, suggest what Judy could add to the plastic sheet. Okay, so that more of substance Q could be collected in the same amount of time. Yes, okay, that is, I think, a very good suggestion to add ice on it. Okay. Okay, so for condensation, remember, I think one key point that a lot of students don't understand is to increase the rate of condensation, you must increase the temperature difference. Okay, so to increase condensation, okay, I hope you all can see. Increase temperature. Okay, I'm gonna write it in short form. Difference. Okay, so hopefully you all understand the concept of like temperature difference. Like it is the difference between the temperature of the surface and the water vapor. All right. So can you tell what is amphibian and reptile are again? Amphibian have moist skin, right? Reptile, they have dry scales. They both lay eggs. They both can live in land and water. But amphibians, because they have moist skin, so they can actually breathe underwater. Okay, amphibian is the skin is the wet and slimy one, but reptile is the one that has like dry scales. What kind of ice? Dry ice? No, not dry ice. It's like the normal ice. Okay. Any other question? Where do I teach? I teach at the Sengkang CC. If you want to join my physical class, sure, you can go there and approach the counter, right, and see if there's slots for my class. No problem. You can definitely join me for my physical class. Okay, looks like no more question, right? I hope you all like learn a few things about the water cycle also. Okay, definitely PSLE water cycle will come out for sure. They can breathe through moist skin, okay, but y'all will not be tested on like very in-depth stuff. I teach at the Sengkang CC branch for AGrader, okay, but I only teach on Saturday there. Okay, come, let's go through question number 7 quickly. All right. Okay, can you all see the question? Okay, Marsha conducted an experiment using 4 different types of fabric, okay, P, Q, R, and S. She wanted to find out which fabric could absorb the most amount of water. Okay, so this experiment is on absorbency, right? She prepared 4 strips of the same length. Okay, same length, that means fair test, right? Each type of fabric. She dotted water-soluble ink at equal intervals and hung the strips in a trough of water as shown in the diagram. Okay, so they are all also hanging at the same height. Okay, so another constant variable to ensure a fair test. So she observed that as the strips absorb water, the dots of ink smudged, right? So the ink will smudge, and then we can see that for okay, let me maybe highlight it in blue, right? So P is until here, Q is until here, R has got nothing, and then S is the whole thing, right? So now you can see clearly what is their absorbency. And if the question asks you to arrange the 4 fabric in order, so this is also another place where a lot of students make mistake. In order for their in order of their ability to absorb water, beginning with the least water absorbent. Okay, so it's quite obvious which one is the least absorbent, right? In fact, when you look at R, you should know that R is waterproof. Okay, so start with R. Okay, I should write in blue, right? Okay, and then write down the most absorbent, right? Another tip which I always tell my students is write down the 2 extreme values first. Okay, so R is the least absorbent and the most absorbent is gonna be S. Okay, write down the two first, then you fill in the middle. Okay, so after R is going to be P, it's going to be Q. Okay, then followed by S. Okay, so pretty straightforward, right? Then after that, next question. Sorry, I need to scroll up a bit. Okay, I got classmate here. Where Thanos? You mean at Sengkang? Okay, Marsha then cut out a strip from her raincoat and repeated the experiment. Would the dots of ink smudge and then explain? So obviously it is not, right, because your raincoat is definitely made of a waterproof material, correct? So if it is a waterproof material, then would the dot smudge? This is definitely a no. Okay, then you need to explain. So explain using the property of the material, which is waterproof. Okay, but don't write a waterproofness. Okay, yeah, the chat has gone crazy. Doesn't matter, right? I think the chat should go crazy. If not, I also wouldn't want the chat to be boring also. Okay, so no, yeah, is definitely the answer. The ink will not smudge. It is because the raincoat, okay, is made of a waterproof material, okay, and will not, okay, absorb any water. Okay, I believe this should be the last question, and I still have a few minutes to like answer any question you all have for, I think especially for your PSLE. Okay, any question? Especially those who are like taking PSLE, right? What is my favorite number? I don't have a favorite number. What kind of question always come out for PSLE? Okay, I don't really like to spot question, but every question, every topic will definitely come out one question. Okay, that's what I usually advise my students. Okay, any other question? Okay, because my, can you give us all the answer to PSLE? Wow, if I know skibidi, not skibidi, capybara, if I know the answer to PSLE, I won't be here teaching already. I'll just sell it and I'll be rich. And then after that, I'll go to jail because the police will catch me for selling the PSLE answer. Please go through photosynthesis. Okay, for photosynthesis, remember the word equation. I still have space, right? Okay, the word equation is carbon dioxide, okay, plus water, right? And then after that, arrow with light, sunlight, and okay, chlorophyll, then you will produce food, right? You can also write sugar plus release oxygen. Okay, so when the question asks you to explain what is photosynthesis, usually I tell my students to make sure you mention these 6 things, okay? There will always be a long electricity. Yes, electricity will always have a question, so make sure you all know your series circuit, parallel circuit. Okay, what is the pros and cons to your series circuit and parallel circuit? How to draw a series circuit, how to draw a parallel circuit. Why never answer my question? I will cut your paycheck. Oh, okay, what was your question? Don't cut me. I'm very poor already. I'm a poor teacher. No, I'm not gonna say. Every time a student asks me to say something, I'm not gonna say. Need to add keep the user dry. Let me think. Okay, Eden, I don't think in this case you need to say keep the user dry because the question is not asking you what is the function. Okay, the question is not asking you which material is best to be made into a raincoat. Jill, can you say hello? No. Okay, so this question don't need to say it will keep the user dry because they're asking you the question is like phrased in a different way. She cut a piece from her raincoat, and the question is asking you, will the ink smudge? So it's not gonna smudge because it is a waterproof material. Sure, my mommy is going to check my work and I will never finish. My mommy will scold me. And it's okay lah. Last time when I was young, my mommy also always scold me. My mommy also cane me. But I still grew up fine. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, any more question about your PSLE? Um, scroll back where? Sorry, up or what? Tips for open-ended food chain food web. Oh my goodness. Food chain food web, please identify. The first thing you do is identify the producer. Okay, and remember, as you go down the food chain, the population will decrease. Okay, that is a food chain food. Go up like front. You mean like go up like that? Is it? MCQ tips are be very careful. Please capitalize your MCQ and earn as many marks as possible from your MCQ. If you don't make more than 3 mistakes, you're on your way to top 3 AL already, or maybe top 4 AL, okay? You forgot what is food producer. Oh my goodness, son, I hope you're not taking PSLE. But you are, because if you learn food chain food web, then man impact tips. Man impact usually is seldom tested. Man's impact on the environment. So no tips for man's impact. How to pass in mathematics. Scroll to 6C. Okay, here. Most common topics are Avis, I usually don't recommend students to spot question because that will make you like narrow down your focus. I don't want students to just focus on one thing. I want you to focus on many things. You want me to levitate, but I cannot levitate. What's the difference between starch and sugar? Um, sugar is converted to starch. Then they store it as starch. So starch is not sugar. Sugar is not starch. Okay, so sugar is converted into starch. What is my favorite egg? Chicken egg. This one I can answer. 6D is add ice on metal sheet. Yes. 6D is add metal sheet. No, it's not metal sheet. Add ice on the plastic sheet. How to convert? You're not tested on it, Norris. So PSLE will not ask you how to convert. Okay, so don't worry. What type of forces are there? I don't remember. I'm not taking PSLE. Avis, you should know by now if you're taking PSLE. Right, especially your gravitational force, frictional force. At least, please make sure you know how to answer all the frictional force question because I think definitely will come out. Okay, no more question. Right, I go toilet so long and still on this question. No, they are like they are asking for tips for PSLE. What is my favorite fast food? A McDonald's. Okay. Any other question on your PSLE? If not, like I will see you all next week on Thursday, right? Is that still before? I believe it's still before your PSLE science, right? Correct or not? Yes, it's still before your PSLE science. Okay, so you all still can ask me more questions next Thursday. Okay, I think I will go off already. All right, bye. Have fun. Study hard. Those who are taking PSLE, I'll see you all next week on Thursday. Bye bye.